Hi guys, Parias back with another explanation video for the lower level rankings. Couple things for me to go over. First, if you would like to follow along, I recommend opening up the dock yourself because the video quality may be horrid. So my apologies. We didn't have enough, or I didn't have enough for 50 teams based off the qualifications that I give. I say you either have to, either play low ink, complete day one, or complete the whole thing to be qualified on here, or you have to, and by the whole thing, I mean day one and two if you qualify for day two. And also you had to play, if you didn't play low ink, you had to play two of the following tournaments, which is Minnow Cup and LSL, the only other lower level tournaments that go towards this at the moment. Rest in peace Ash Cup. But yeah, another thing, Ludi's coming back. That's gonna count towards this, of course. So if you play your Ludi set and then you play a tournament, whether that be LSL, Minnow Cup, or Low Ink, you will qualify on here. You have to complete the entire tournament though. Another thing, I'm looking to add Falco Flyers Friday Night Frenzy. It's a cool tournament or league, I guess you could say. That you can enter. It's like the matches are every Friday. They're all streamed and stuff, and I enjoyed watching it this past Friday, the playoffs and stuff. So, and I saw a couple of teams that that are lower level that play in it. So, I'm interested in adding that. Let me know if you would like that. And if you are interested in playing in it, I believe there's some information about it. I'll probably leave like links in the description if you are interested in that. It looks like a really fun tournament. So, or league, sorry. So, yeah. So, there wasn't enough teams that completed the qualification to be on here. I probably would have only had like 40, maybe 45-ish teams on here if I would have not included the teams that did well in Minnow Cup. So that means did well means you went 4-2, or you qualified for top cut. So yeah, those teams are Hydra, Yaoru, Shining Storm, Blazing Storm, and Heaven's Moonlight. So yeah, those are the teams that I found, and they're on here as you can see. So yeah, so they kind of made room for the honorable mentions a little bit, or they gave me a couple more teams, and then it also made room to that gave me a couple more teams to fill out the whole thing down all the way down to the honorable mentions. So yeah, first first team I want to go over, Ink in the System. I know they ended up winning a lower level tournament that was on Friday. It doesn't count towards this, but they did end up qualifying for Gamma for Low Ink when they played. They ended up dropping. They didn't play day two, unfortunately, but would have been nice to see them play day two. I really do believe they would have placed pretty high, or if not in the top 8, at least. So yeah, very interested in this team going forward, seeing what they can do in Little Squid League and also other stuff as well. So yeah, Hidden Radiance of the Dawn and Hidden Radiance of the Twilight, they both qualified for Gamma, and they both did pretty well. So they both end up finding a place on here, one at 45th and one at 34. Twilight had a breakout tournament. They ended up getting third, I believe. Yeah, third in Gamma, and they ended up having some good wins there. So yeah, so good job to both Hidden Radiance teams. Bamboo Dragons, they find their way over here to 47th. They had a win, I believe in Minnow Cup over Legato. So that's really stood out to me. And so they gave them a bump over the likes of like Ink in the System and Twilight Anglers. So yeah. Murder Inc. makes their way on here for the first time after a very long, what seemed to be a very long hiatus. This team used to be a Little Squid League regular. They are currently signed up for that, but yeah, they make their way to number 40. They did pretty well in Gamma. They qualified. They got 7th place. They had some wins over Radical Dreamers, Sia, Black Squid Boys, who are also improving as well. And I lost track of it. And Red is the captain, not Flowey. Please host. So yeah, some good wins there for Murder Inc. For Hydra, Yoru, and Shining Storm, these were the teams that played in Minnow Cup and did well. Well, they all made top cut. They all made top cut, and they all had they could all really change. They could really alternate. So 24th to 26 could all alternate, honestly. I didn't feel like putting tied for 24 because I felt like that would have been a bit excessive because I already have one tie already, and I tried to keep it to like 2 ties or less, so, or 2 ties or 1, so yeah. But yeah, either of these teams could be at 24th, either of them could be at 25th, 26th, you know, etc. Thing that put Shining Storm over these two, both of these teams beat Shining Storm, but Shining Storm had a win over Sirius, so the only team to beat Sirius during Minnow Cup, which they're now banned now, so yeah, but nonetheless, good win for them. Still a good win for Shining Storm, and Yaru and Hydra doing pretty well as well in Minnow Cup splat zones. Literally feeding in Snowfall 27-28. These teams definitely would be higher. They both went 5-1 in Lowink, but they ended up having to drop, so they could not play in day 2. Snowfall literally feeding is a new team. They had wins over likes of Access Denied, Shiver Me Inklings, Aquatic Vanguard. So really good wins, and their only loss was the Phoenix. And then for Snowfall, they had wins over the likes of the JPEG Pickup and Vaporwave BLT for their noticeable wins. So yeah, Snowfall, definitely a team I would have put in my top 10 if I made a top 10. But yeah, definitely think both of these teams would have went pretty far if they would have played day 2. Fingers crossed they sign up for the next Lowink and they are able to complete both days. So yeah. Up the ante and make their way to number 20. They ended up getting 10th in beta. They had a win over an alpha bracket team in Emptiness, so that kind of gave them a bit of a boost. Their only losses were to other like very good beta bracket teams and also alpha bracket teams as well. So up the ante, steady, keeping their hot streak, honestly. So all right, Disbanded teams. Okay. I include. I know both of these teams are disbanded. They both completed low ink. Um, and disbanded after the fact, and they had strong results. Um, Powering got fifth in beta. Rising Tide ended up winning Gamma, so I felt weird just leaving them out. So both teams had very strong results. Um, uh, After after disband, and then they decided to disband, unfortunately. But yeah, um, but nonetheless, I feel like they both deserve to be here. I feel like Powering deserves their number 19 spot, and Rising Tide definitely deserves their number 30 spot. Ocean 7, they had some good wins. They ended up going 3-3 in both Minnow and Low Ink. They ended up qualifying for Beta, and they showed up in Beta. They ended up getting fourth. They beat the likes of Blue Moon, Shiver Me Inklings, Sleeping Seals, Kappa, to mention some of the more those noticeable wins. So yeah, all good wins. Blue Moon, a up and coming rising team. Shiver Me Inklings, a consistent team. Sleeping Seals, also another rising team, and Kappa, also another consistent team that's usually making uh, beta and alpha. For Shiver Me Inklings and Kappa, Shiver Me Inklings continue to qualify for beta. They had a really good Minnow Cup. They ended up getting 4-2, but they didn't make top cut. They had their wins consisted are over BLT, Jelly Squids, who they beat twice, and Myopsidus, Blue Hour, Nefarious, who looked very strong early on in the low ink on day one, but they ended up dropping. Sleeping Seals as well. And their only losses were to other either alpha bracket, either qualified alpha bracket teams or um, high placing beta teams. So same for Kappa. They had a really good bounce back month this month. Last month they ended up qualifying for Gamma, unfortunately, but really good bounce back month for Kappa. They getting um, end up getting sixth in beta bracket. Squadron Azura had a good placement. They got third in beta. They had wins over the likes of Powering, Peer Pressure, Sleeping Seals, and Anima for their key wins, and also a win over LSL 15 champion Intimidation Factor. Emptiness, and I also forgot about this team. They ended up qualifying for Alpha. They went 3-3 in Minnow Cup, but their wins were pretty good. They had wins over Up the Ante, Kappa, um, Squadra Azura, and also Yaru from Minnow Cup. Their losses were all to Alpha Bracket teams, Leg, Overflow, JPEG, ITAP, Hydra, Blazing Storm, and Sirius. Okay, top 8. Aquatic Vanguard, did really well. They placed 7th in Alpha Bracket, with wins over the likes of OK Woomer, Leg, at EDM pickup, Astro, Ink Bashers. Their only losses were to other alpha bracket teams, or very strong alpha bracket teams like Wipeout Punks, Extra Big Cheese It, who plays pretty well. Literally Feeding, who would have qualified, who would have been an alpha but dropped, opening the door for Aquatic Vanguard and also Rising Stars, and Leg, who also had a really good October. All right, number 7, Access Denied, continue to stay in the top 8. They got 3rd in Minnow Cup Splat Zones, and then they got 8th here in Low Ink. key wins over Rising Hope, or most notable wins over Rising Hope, OK Woomer. They beat Overflow 3 times this month. Hydra, Shiver Me Inklings, Blazing Storm, Blue Moon. And their losses were to Literally Feeding, Luma Stars, Wipeout Punks, Rising Stars, Sirius, and Leg. If Access Denied turns one of those losses into a win, they will definitely be higher on this list. They would definitely be higher on this list, a lot higher. Number 6, Inkling Technology at Purdue. How fitting, because they got 6th in Alpha. They beat the likes of Overflow, Leg, Rising Stars, Intimidation Factor, Vivis, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name, Power Inc., and OK Woomer, so all good wins. All good wins. Their losses were to Rising Stars, who they ended up beating on Saturday, but ended up falling to on Sunday. Myopsidus and Unlimited Umi United, who they also lost to on Saturday. So yeah, same thing as Access Denied. If ITAP probably turns that Myopsidus lost to a win, or this Ubu lost to a win, they are definitely higher up on this list. Luma Stars got 12th, but had a very strong Saturday. Didn't have a strong Sunday, but had a very strong Saturday. They had the wins over likes of Rising Stars, Extra Big Cheez-It, Access Denied, Shiver Me Inklings, Leg, and Myopsidus. So all good, really big and good wins, especially wins over Rising Stars, who got 2nd, Access Denied, who is consistent alpha bracket team, Shiver Me Inklings, who's also pretty consistent and making beta, trying to make their way back into alpha. Leg, who's also really good, and then Myopsidus, who was also another consistent alpha bracket team. Speaking of Myopsidus at number 4, ended up getting 4-2 in Minnow Cup. Kind of like Shiver Me Inklings, if they would have made top cut, I feel like they would definitely be higher. If they would have gotten a chance at top cut, they definitely would have got a couple of wins there. They ended up getting 3rd in Low Ink. Some of their wins consist of wins over Heaven's Moonlight, ITAP, JPEG, Luma Stars, Blue Moon, Rising Tides, Sleeping Seals. They ended up losing to Leg twice, which if they would have turned those wins, or both of those losses, or one of those losses into a win, they would probably be number 2 or number 3 on this list, or maybe even number 1. They lost to Rising Stars and UU, 1st and 2nd in the tournament, and they also lost to Luma Stars, who went undefeated that Saturday. All right, number 3, Wipeout Punks. They got 5th. I know some people think or may have thought that it was a disappointing month for them, but I feel like this is more of them being consistent. Ended up getting top 2 the last Low Ink, and now making their way kind of back into that, keeping their way or keeping themselves still in that top 8. So, they didn't go down very much in their placing. They just went from number 1 to number 3. I believe so. Yeah, they stay in the top 3 and they stay in this top 8. Wins over Aquatic Vanguard, Access Denied, UWU, the only team I believe outside of Rising Stars to beat UWU. Snowfall, who I mentioned was very strong. Emptiness, JPEG, Kappa. So they kind of ran the gauntlet for Low Ink. They had none of these wins are none of these wins are just small or just, oh, they should definitely beat them. Like, they could have lost any of these sets, of course. Losses came to Unlimited Woomy United and Extra Big Cheez-It, who popped off on Sunday. Number 2, or tied for number one. Um, so the reason why I tied these two teams for number one is because the reason why I tied these teams for number one is because Leg had a really good minnow cup. They ended up getting second. They didn't have the best low ink. They had a good day one, but they didn't have the best day two. They ended up placing 11th, but they had wins over Hydra, who they beat twice. Blue Moon, Yaru, Access Denied, Myopsidus, who they also beat twice, who, like I mentioned, is very strong. Had a win over Phoenix, I'm sorry, Vives, I'm sorry. Sleeping Seals, Aquatic Vanguard. Their only losses were to Sirius, who is no longer able to play in lower level events, ITAP, Aquatic Vanguard, and Lumistars. So, yeah, so mainly mainly that win, or yeah, mainly those two wins versus Myopsidus, and then those two wins against Hydra, who looks also very, very strong. And I kind of hope we get to see them in a low ink soon, of course. So yeah. And for Rising Stars, they're one of the only teams, just like Wipeout Punks, to beat Uwu. But they also had more wins than just that. They had wins over JPEG. They had a win over JPEG, Phoenix, ITAP, Access Denied, Myopsidus, Extra Big Cheez It, Squadra Azura, Kappa, Clownfish, and their losses were to Lumistars, OK Woomer, ITAP, and Uwu, of course. So them losing in first round in Alpha probably was a blessing, because then they had to run the gauntlet. So they ended up doing pretty well. So yeah, that is it for the video. Couple little things. If you do not want to be on this, because I know a lot of people kind of seemed annoyed. I don't know. That's never my intention to annoy people with this. I just like doing this stuff. And I kind of wanted to give something other than looty divs to look at. So yeah, if you don't want to be on this, if you don't want to be included whatsoever, please just let me know. And if you do want to be included, be like, hey, we did this and this during this, or like if you post your results on Twitter, just tag me. That way I know, okay, this team wants to be included for this month, you know? So, once you tell me yes, I'm not gonna just take you off when all of a sudden because I don't have time for the, oh, we did bad this month, we don't want to be included, you know, type of thing. So yeah, um, so yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you all for the continued support and, um, of like making these relevant. So yeah. Have a nice day. I will be back for November, of course. December, I am most likely taking a break. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Have a nice day.